Today we're going to start relearning everything that we've learned for the year, and we're going to start with the very first week of school. And the very first week of school, we learned how to categorize numbers, and we learned about scientific notation. I should have everybody's eyes up on the board with me, and they should have their notes in front of them. All right, we just went over this chart on our warm-up, but we're going to go over it again. All numbers in 8th grade are real numbers. They are either rational but they can never be rational and irrational at the same time. They have to be one or the other. Irrational numbers are pi, write that down, and all your square roots that are not whole. So if it's a square root and it has a decimal in it, it's irrational. And those are your irrational numbers. Everything else goes over here. Do y'all understand? Pi and your square roots that are not whole go over here. Everything else goes over here. Rational are all your other numbers. Everything. Your decimals, your percents, your fractions, your integers, and your whole numbers. So, integers are rational, but integers are positive and negative counting numbers. For example, -1 and +1, -2 and +2. Those are your integers. And whole numbers are only positive counting. But again, whole numbers are rational. So if I say, hey, is 5 rational? You would say, yes, it is. But it's specifically a whole number. Is 5 an integer? Yes, because integers are positive and negative counting numbers. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to place the following numbers in this diagram where they most specifically go. So everybody look at 24ths. First question, is 24ths rational or irrational? It's rational because it's a fraction. So it definitely could go here. Do y'all agree? But we need to see if it could be an integer or whole number by putting it in our calculator. So go to your calculator and put in 24ths. What does 24th simplify to? So let's talk about where would 5 most specifically fit in this graph, this Venn diagram? Whole. So 24ths would go here. I don't see everybody writing. Would 24ths also be an integer? Yes. Would it also be rational? Yes. Would it also be real? Would it be irrational? No. Very good. All right. The square root of 35. Now, where do square roots all go? Unless they are a whole number. So I got to go test it out in my calculator. The square root of 35, oops, is it a whole number? So it automatically is what? Irrational. The square root of 35 is irrational. All right, the negative square root of 169. Is it a square root? So it might go here, but we have to test if it's a whole number first. So here we go. The negative square root of 169, negative 13. Do y'all see how not all square roots go over here? Where does negative 13 specifically belong? Integer. Very good, because it's a negative counting number. All right, last one, negative 2.5. First of all, let's ask ourselves, is it rational or irrational? Rational. because the only thing that belongs over here is pi and square roots. All right, so it's going to go over here. Now ask yourself, is it a counting number? Would you count 2.5? No, so it is simply rational. All right, the next question. Which of the following would make this inequality true? This is an inequality, but it's basically all it is a least to greatest question. It is a least to greatest question. So what do y'all think I need to do to all these numbers? What mode should I probably be in? Mode float 2, because it's going to make it look like money. So let's go change 2/3 to decimal form. So alpha y equals option 1. Put in 2/3, hit enter. That did nothing. Now what do I do? Math, decimal, enter. How much money? 67 cents. Write it right here. Now go change the square root of 6 to a decimal. Everybody should be entering in their calculator. How much money is the square root of 6? $2.45. So what we're looking for is a number that fits in the middle of 67 cents and $2.45. So we got to go change all the answer choices to decimals. So here we go. Change A, 1/3. How much money is a third worth? 33 cents. Write it down. Would 33 cents fit between 67 cents and $2.45? I can't hear y'all. No. Is it too big or too little? Too little. All right, let's try 25%. How do you change a percent to a decimal? Put it over 100. So 25 over 100 is 25 cents. Would 25 cents fit between these two? I see some people shaking heads, but I don't see anybody answering me. Yes or no? I can't hear y'all. No, why not? Too big or too little? Too little. How do I change 70% to a decimal? All right, 70 over 100. How much money is that worth? Would 70 cents fit between 67 cents and $2.45? Yes, it would. And the square root of 26 is $5.10. That's way too big. It would not fit in the middle. All right, should we still be in mode float 2? No. Now we're going to go out of mode float 2 and we're going to go to mode float just to get out of it. Now look at the next question. How would this number be expressed in scientific notation? So what mode do I need to go to? SCI. I should see everybody doing this in their calculator. I'm not seeing it. Go to mode, SCI, and hit enter. Then go back to your home screen and simply type in this number. This number is 0 point, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. So 0 point, and then 6 zeros. Then 3, 5. Hit enter. Is that how I write my answer? No. How do I write it? 3.5 times 10 with an exponent of -7. Okay, now it wants us to go from scientific back to normal. So go back to mode. Go back to normal. Type in this number, 2.34 times 10 with an exponent of -6. Hit enter. Did it do it for me or did it keep it in scientific? So sometimes I have to do them by hand. So what I do is I look at the exponent. That's how many times I move the decimal. If it's positive, I move it right. If it's negative, where do I move it? Left. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite 2.34. How many times am I going to move the decimal? 6 places. Since it's negative, I'm going to go to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is my new decimal. What goes in the baskets? Inside the baskets. Zeros. Yes, they go inside. Don't put them on the edge of the basket. So my answer is decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. Then 2, 3, 4. What could go right here? A 0. All right, again, we have reviewed what we've learned the first week of school, which is understanding the real number diagram, understanding where numbers go within them, ordering numbers from least to greatest or greatest to least, and scientific notation. You have an answer document in front of you, and I'm going to post the assignment in the Google Classroom. And you can get your answers checked with me.